Hello you guys, hello hikers. I'm gonna do a quick video just to show you how I pack my pack, and then as well as a few other things that you could do, because this is such a personal thing, right? Everyone does it a little bit differently. There is no kind of one how-to or one way to do it, but I will explain what I'm doing as I go through and kind of how the weight distributions work there. So the first thing you're going to want to do is lay out all of your gear, all your clothes, all your food, everything you need for your trip. Lay it all out, preferably on like a bed, or if you have a big open floor space, you can do it there. Hopefully, I don't think you guys can see the full kind of hiker explosion that's happening right now, but so I have all my gear laid out in front of me, and I'll show you what I do as I go through. So, we're in here. To start off, sorry, that was really crinkly and loud. To start off, I'll show you my pack, and then also too how to set up your pack and get it ready to go. So this is the pack I use. It's a Go Light. Alright, unfortunately Go Light is now out of business, but so it's an ultralight pack, which means that it doesn't have a full frame. It has just a super thin, it does have some structure to the pack. There's a thin kind of pad in there, kind of a board, but like it's super thin and super light. It's not even an internal frame like an internal frame pack would be. But so if, and that again too is personal preference, you may like packs like this, you may want something with a little bit more structure, like an actual internal frame pack, which is totally fine. So make sure that your bag, before every trip, I always make sure it's actually empty. So totally empty everything out, feel around in every nook and cranny, every pocket, make sure everything's out of there. Alright, and after you're sure it's totally empty and totally cleaned out from your last trip, then you want to put your pack liner in there. Okay, so get like a compactor bag or a big trash bag, a heavy duty one, and take the very end of it and put it in the bottom of your bag. Alright, so get that down in there, and then I like to roll the top of my bag over, roll the top of the trash bag. Right, roll it out so I have a nice just opening, everything's kind of out of the way so I can actually start putting my gear in there. So you want to start off with something really light in the very beginning, have light things in the very bottom of your bag, and the best thing to put in there is your sleeping bag, because that's the last thing that you're going to need throughout the day, right? So you kind of want to pack with weight in mind and where the weight will be in your bag, but you also want to pack kind of in reverse chronological order so that, you know, like the things you need first are going to be on top and the things you need last are going to be in the bottom. So sleeping bag goes in first. A quick note about sleeping bags. I like to use my compression stuff sack for my sleeping bag. Some people though, especially if you're super ultralight, you may just ditch the stuff sack altogether and just put your sleeping bag in there, just loose in the bottom, and then everything else will like conform around it. That's not a bad idea at all. I don't know, I guess I'm just kind of set in my ways. I like to have the compression bag. Right now this is not compressed, but sometimes, like especially on the AT, if I had like a full load of food, like 5 or 6 days worth of food in my bag that took up a lot of space, I would want to compress this down even more to save some space in my pack. So right now though, space isn't too much of an issue. I'm going to be packing as if I'm packing for just a short trip, like 2 or 3 days. So we put this in, and I just put it in sideways. So if you can tell, my sleeping bag is now just lying across the bottom. It's not up and down, it's lying across the bottom like that. Alright, great. So that's the lightest thing. Now that my sleeping bag is giving a little bit of space in the bottom, I'm actually going to put my food bag in next, which is probably going to be your heaviest thing, is going to be your food. And you want your food to be, or well, your heaviest thing, I should say, to be inside your pack and close to your back. So where the straps are, this is the part of the bag that's going to be against my back. I want my food bag to be also against that side of my pack and kind of midway up. So when I put my pack on, my food bag, I want it to be pretty close to the center of my back, just to kind of help keep that weight in and close to me, so it's not like way, like just out willy-nilly knocking me off balance and stuff. So food bag in next. And I've also gotten questions about how to pack your food so it doesn't get smushed. So I've never had an issue with this, so you just saw I put my food bag in there, and now I have lots of space all around my bag that I'm going to fill in with all my other lighter items to kind of keep it in place, to keep it from wiggling around. So a lighter item, my tent. I have a tarp tent. It only weighs about a pound. I put that in the side, in one side next to my food bag, and then in the other side, I put my sleeping pad. Alright, that goes in the other side right next to my food bag. Alright, and this always is a little bit like Tetris, trying to get everything to fit together. And then I find for me, since my sleeping pad, when it's rolled up like that, it is pretty short. So I have quite a bit of open space over here. So then goes in my stove, my cook set. So this is literally, it's just a 1 liter pot. Inside the pot, I have my fuel, a canister fuel, my actual stove, my Snow Peak Gigalite stove is in there, my spoon, I have a tiny scrubby, and also a small bottle of soap. And even a small salt and pepper, all in here, inside my pot. And that just goes right on top of my sleeping bag. And then, in the space I have left, kind of at the front of my pack, or like the back side of my pack that isn't going to be against my body, I put my clothes. So these are my sleeping clothes, right? My dry set of clothes. They're gonna go right in there. So still my food bag is kind of in the center. I don't know if you can even see that, but if you can see, this blue is my food bag, this is my tent over here, stove, and then my clothes are kind of at the far side of my pack. Alright, and then goes in all the miscellaneous items. So are kind of miscellaneous, and these are going to be things that you might need throughout the day. So for example, a fleece, an extra layer in case it's cold out. That goes kind of on top. Alright, and then next, I think that's all that needs to stay dry. So I'm actually going to close up my bag liner now. So that's my pack liner. To close it up, I literally just roll it over on itself, and then that just stays there. So everything else doesn't necessarily need to stay dry. So for example, my camp shoes. Alright, my camp shoes, sometimes they can get kind of dirty. I don't want to pack those in with my clothes, or like with my, anything that I want to keep clean and dry. So camp shoes just randomly go on top, willy-nilly. And then also, last thing that goes actually in the pack is rain gear. Okay, so next, rain pants and raincoat. Oops. Oh. Okay. So, keep my rain gear on top just in case if a downpour starts happening while I'm hiking, I can get that super fast. Alright, and then we're going to go over some of the miscellaneous things that go on the outside. So I also just keep I have a little bag of kind of just miscellaneous and like toiletries, like toothbrush, toothpaste. I like to keep handy. Keep that in there. I also, this can go anywhere, whether you want to keep it handy or keep it with your food. This is to hang my bear bag. So the food that I packed my bag in is actually a waterproof, a dry stuff sack, and so then I will hang that at night with this 50-foot rope. So that can go in there. That's for my bear line. Alright, then these I like to keep. So usually when I'm hiking or backpacking, I take 2 1-liter water bottles. So for example, like Gatorade bottles, 2 like big fat Gatorade bottles, or 2 smart water bottles. A lot of hikers like to use. So those I'll actually use to drink water out of and keep in my side pockets. But I also pack these. They're just collapsible water bottles. Each of them are 1 liter. I pack them for like at camp. If I want extra water, I can then get 4 liters of water at a time instead of just 2. Or if you ever have a really long stretch between water sources, then you can carry extra water in here. So I have my extra water bottles. And then, so this is getting kind of tricky because most of the things I have left here I do want to keep handy. Like all of them I want to be handy and on the top. So, well, except for maybe this, I do keep just a small microfiber towel, and I use this for pretty much everything, from drying off the inside of my tent if it gets wet, drying off myself if I get wet in the rain. Also, even too, I've used this at hostels. If I stay at a place that doesn't have a towel, I'll literally use this to like dry myself off, wring it out, dry off the rest of me. So I love my microfiber towel. I take that. I have my poop kit. So this is literally everything just in this bag. Some toilet paper, my trowel, my shovel, and then also hand sanitizer goes in there. I'm going to keep that handy, as well as in case if I'm on my period or if I need to pack out any like used toilet paper or used wipes, I'll put them in a Ziploc bag like this that's covered in duct tape. Also, Fibella, my female urinary device, I'm going to keep handy. Headlamp, I want to keep kind of handy, you know, at least once it starts to get dark, I want to be able to find that. I don't want to have to go digging through my whole pack to find it. Water purification, I want to keep handy. I'll need that throughout the day to refill my water. Some snacks. Snacks, I like to keep in my waist belt, so I don't know, hopefully you can see that. There's just some pockets in my waist belt that I'll put those snacks in, just for the day. You don't have to keep all your snacks handy, but at least a couple snacks keep handy there. A whistle, and the whistle sometimes I honestly just wear this around my neck, kind of like a nerd. Other hikers make fun of me, but I don't even care. I like to have a whistle and like to have it handy in case I need to use it. So I'll either wear it on my neck during the day or make sure I'll rig it up on the front of my shoulder straps so that I can reach it. And then map and compass, I want to keep handy. My Spot GPS, I also want to keep handy. This is what I use to track myself. My family can check in and see where I am. I can check in and say I'm okay, and that lets them know I'm okay. Or I could call SOS for search and rescue on this. So this is another thing that I would keep in my hip belt, right? So actually on my hip belt or maybe on my shoulder strap, somewhere really handy. So that I'm going to keep in the front. And then first aid kit, I usually just assemble my own first aid kit with just all the basics, just a few meds, a few things to treat cuts, and some emergency like waterproof matches and some hand warmers in there. So this we're going to keep handy right on top. And also a knife. I would probably keep in my waist belt, again, somewhere handy where I could just grab it, so I'll keep that with my whistle and GPS. And then one last thing, very last thing, the pack cover. And honestly, the pack cover I just keep anywhere on the outside. In this pack, my water bottle holders, the pockets for the water bottles, are big enough that I can keep my pack cover in there with a water bottle also. So that's where I keep that. And then one last thing, I love my bandana. I use it for a wide variety of things. On some hikes I just use it for my nose, to blow my nose. Sometimes I use it as a pee rag. So that goes on the outside always, just to keep it dry and as aired out and clean as possible. So then I would just tie that to the outside, any outside strap. And then once you have your bag all packed, zip that up. Unbuckle this guy. And then you want to compress everything. So once you're actually packed, you want to just compress all your straps. Okay, that's one over here. Alright, and then that's just going to keep everything together, keep it from wiggling around, keep it close into your body. You want to keep the weight of your pack, and especially the heaviest weight, as close to your center of gravity as possible. So that's why we put the heaviest things, you know, kind of closer to the back support of the back and whatnot. So because if it's farther away, if it's far away from our center of gravity, we're going to have a hard time kind of maneuvering and getting over things and under things and whatnot. So yeah, you just want to keep everything in, keep everything tight, close to your body so you can kind of move a little bit better. And that is it. And then I'll also have my trekking poles, which I'll be carrying. I don't usually keep those in my pack. So definitely leave a comment. Let me know if you have any questions, and I hope that helps.